been a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't have to plan it, I can go change my fate. You won't understand it, all alone, that's okay. People I can't stand them, they don't want me to change. Keep me where I'm standing, and I don't wanna be where I am. And I want something more, take a chance. It could be possibly my last dance, my last dance. I don't wanna let myself down, myself.
Hey. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back. Another day, another time, another drama today. Yeah. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? I'm starting a little bit late today, and that's just because I was trying to figure out my chart. Yesterday there was a lot of drama happening. Unfortunately, I missed the whole drama where, we had a different clash of idea. The whole idea of this live stream and podcast is just to be able to build a community and have people express their opinion without any resentment. Of course, you're gonna be careful not to incite violence and all that. But that being said, people are free to express their mind, number one. Number two, it's not an echo chamber, so I would definitely love to see people disagree with me. It's part of the whole, it's part of the whole process, and that's that about that. Just give me one sec. Yeah, I'm back. And so that's it. So today I'm gonna be starting on a different I'll say on a different note. Just one sec again. On a different note. And there's been this argument and this viral clip that went, I'll say, viral across the world. And it had to do with a segment that was done by Bill Maher. Bill Maher is a night show host in the United States of America. And then during one of his shows or his episode, he came out and said, you know what? I'm tired of all these protests. I'm tired of all this virtue signaling about stuff happening, in Israel, when you have greater issues happening in places like Nigeria, and nobody cares about what is happening. You understand what I mean? And he came out and said that. And to be honest with you, there's been a lot of debate about about that. So we're gonna start with one of the clips that I saw yesterday, and that clip was really going viral. But let me start with this.
Regina Capel. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to bring attention to the tragedy Christians in Nigeria are experiencing. The deadly terrorist organization Boko Haram is trying to eliminate the Christian faith from Nigeria. This is the same terrorist group that kidnapped dozens of young schoolgirls and burned innocent civilians alive in cages. According to reports, over 3.5 million people have been forced to flee their homes. 3 churches are destroyed every single day. 7,000 Christians were massacred this year alone, and the faithful must now meet in secret or in burnt-out sanctuaries. Sadly, the world is turning a blind eye to the plight of Christians in Nigeria. There are no embedded journalists covering the violence. There are not daily updates. Politicians around the world are not asked questions about how they will respond. We cannot ignore this violence and tragic loss of life. We must speak out and shine a light on what's happening so that people can donate to relief efforts and provide support to those displaced by violence. To my brothers and sisters in Christ, we know you know the power of prayer. We will not forget you. Stay strong. Keep the faith.
Hey. So that's one of the things is
Real-time host Bill Maher has
and then you have
slammed
this.
the media for failing to report on the slaughter of Christians in Nigeria by Islamist groups. Joining us now is Bernard Tutunji, National Director of Aid to the Church in Need in Australia and New Zealand. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Can we just start off by listening to what Bill Maher had to say?
I mean, the fact that this issue has not gotten on people's radar.
Right, no one's talking about it.
It's pretty amazing. If you don't know what's going on in Nigeria, your media sources suck. You are in a bubble. And again, I'm not a Christian, but they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is going on in Gaza. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting this?
Yeah. Thank you. No one will talk about it, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Bernard, he makes such an excellent point that this is largely being ignored by the media, and there are plenty of young people who are happy to go out and demonstrate against Israel and taking part in pro-Palestine demonstrations, yet are silent about what's happening in Nigeria. Why do you think this is?
Look, thanks, Gabriella. Problem one, I think it's being generally ignored because most people don't know about it. But problem two, why is it being ignored by the mainstream news? Look, the mainstream news media cares about what it wants to care about. And we know that 2 groups get little airtime, Africans and Christians. It's really the precise reason that one of Aid to the Church in Need's core works is around advocacy. For 25 years, we've published what we call the Religious Freedom in the World Report, global overview, 196 countries, 900 pages. It looks at where people can practice their faith, all faiths, and where they face discrimination, oppression, or outright persecution. And at one point, there were 4 of these major global reports on religious freedom. Today, there are just 2. There's the US State Department and our report. And even that tells you something. Ours is unique because it's the only non-governmental report that looks at Christian principles and the on-the-ground realities. But to be honest, it's the value of networks like Sky News, presenters like yourself, bringing this to the fore.
There are reports, one by Nigeria-based human rights NGO International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law Inter-Society, found that there's an average of more than 30 Christians in Nigeria being killed every single day. More than 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria.
That's a lot. 30 Christians killed daily in Nigeria. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about, and one of the things that may not really, feel like we're being sincere about, is also going back to Nigeria. And I'm going to also be addressing the fact that even though you have all those killings in Nigeria, most of those killings happen in the northern part of the country. The reality of Christians living in the south and Christians living in the north are wide opposite. Like, they're parallel. You can't even compare. And again, one of the things that makes me kind of unhappy and makes me feel a little sad is that I don't see that level of support from the Christian southerners to the Christian northerners. And there's this feeling that, you know what, the Northerners, they're going to be fine. Or they're going to take care of themselves. Or we don't even really rep with Northerners. And that's the reality. So why you have a pastor in the North, okay, with his church burnt, and is sitting down inside the burnt church with the church members, you know, professing their faith, trying as much as they can to still worship God, to honor God, to respect that they're still alive, and they're going to do everything they can to serve, to worship, and to serve the Lord. In their burnt building, after they've been invaded by these bandits and terrorists. As you have that happening in the North, you know what you have in the Southern Nigeria happening? You see the pastor just buying another Rolls Royce. You see the pastor just coming in with another Ferrari. Oh, there's another yacht. There's another jet. There's a new building, a new theater for worship. And then this is our new congregational, edifice that is just been commissioned. And today I just commissioned like in just this year alone, I bought like 2 jets. That is what is happening in the South. And in Northern Nigeria, you have people paying the ultimate price for Christianity. Now I know, and I need to put some balance to it. Oh, guy, what are you talking about? Is insurgency. The North is also, the Muslims in the North are also being kidnapped. When they go to blow places, the Muslims in the North are also being kidnapped. The Muslims in the North are also being affected. Yes, I agree. But let me tell you, the target is always primarily first for the Christians. That's what the terrorists go after. Then after that, they move on to the next, which is the state workers, the police, and all that. And when all that doesn't suffice, then they move to the mosques, saying that you're going to accept our own share of extremism. And if you don't accept our own share of extremism, we're going to come for you. That's when they go for the North. But primarily, when all of these things happen, the first casualty in any terrorist plan is always the Christians.
This year, yet Nigeria has pushed back against reports such as those. Its Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying earlier that this year that there's plenty of misinformation and misleading reports regarding the supposed targeted killings of Christians. Can I get your response to that?
Yeah, the government's speaking nonsense and hoping the world doesn't pay attention. Nigeria today is an epicenter of Christian martyrdom. Since the year 2000, more than 60,000 Christians have been murdered by Islamist groups like Boko Haram, heavily armed Fulani militia. Our organisation's 2023 report I mentioned places Nigeria firmly in the red category, meaning it's persecution, it's not just discrimination. You know, what makes Nigeria unique is that Christians are not even a tiny minority. They make up almost half the population, 100 million people, yet they live as if they're second-class citizens, especially in the north. The Nigerian government's failed to take any meaningful action to prevent attacks, and the violence is relentless. In Benue State alone, one diocese recorded 93 villages attacked, 330 farmers killed in just a year. This past June, a couple months ago, another attack in Benue. A gunman raided a town, killed 100 people, forced 4,000 to leave. And it's not just killings, Gabriella. We're speaking of abductions, burned villages, destruction of churches, millions forced into camps where they lack even the basics. And every single day, Nigerian Christians wake up to the fresh news of kidnappings or attacks. It's not sporadic, it's systematic, it's targeted, it's gone on for decades with little accountability.
Absolutely horrific. Can you talk to us about how the Aid to the Church in Need supports the suffering, oppressed and persecuted Christians?
Yeah, sure. Look, for 80 years, the work of ACN has been to keep the faith alive, as we say, in those places where it's under greatest assault through persecution, oppression, poverty. We're not a humanitarian or a development agency. We're what's called a pastoral agency. Our work is to sustain the faith directly. So we build, or in the case of Africa, rebuild churches often, sustain poor nuns, priests, provide them with means of transport. In all, we undertake about 6,000 projects a year. At least a cultural, that some of their moral ethical and life choices are not so good. We shoot the messenger, and there's no shortage of examples. 2,000 years ago, King Herod put the head of John the Baptist on a plate because he told him he shouldn't commit adultery. 3 weeks ago, someone shot Charlie Kirk in the head because the person didn't want to be told that a person's sex is an 8. None of us
Catholic Church, it is real and it is fully understandable.
But Christianity provides a framework and a system to better oneself. Radical secularization preaches intolerance. So, the news will continue to see violence against Christians and Christian churches.
Bernard Tatunji, National Director.
So that's that about that. This is what I want you guys to watch right now. Very, very important.
If you turn on primetime news.
So this is my boy, Pat Bet David. If you don't know him, he's the Balutainment founder, and he's well now really into social media. He's going to give you certain perspective. Now, this guy is from Iran. He's a Christian from Iran. So again, you have to put things in perspective here, right?
You're probably going to hear about what's going on with Ukraine.
On
Ukrainian city of Nurtw.
Ukraine has come under heavy bombardment from Russia.
Or what's going on with Gaza.
But in Gaza.
For Gaza.
But you're probably going to hear nothing about the fact that one country has executed more persecutions towards Christians than any other countries around the world combined, and that's Nigeria. Just this year, 7,087 Christians have been killed, beheaded in many instances this year, just for going to church.
Wow. That's massive. That's freaking massive. That's really massive.
Today we're going to talk about the events that are taking place in Nigeria targeted towards Christians. If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. So watch this. If you're watching this, and we know mainstream media is not going to be talking about this a lot with other people, you want to get more exposure to it, share with other people. Let me tell you why. Since 2009 till today, 125,000 Christians have been killed.
125. That's a lot of number, bro. 125 Christians have been killed in Nigeria since 2009. Now, you could say, fine, it was just a summary attack on various things, but we're saying that the average, which is more than any other religion. So you could say, oh, fine, if this thing is happening in the north, and you have majority of those in the north as Muslims, how come we have 125 Christians that have been killed in the north since 2009?
In Nigeria, according to the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law. By the way, when you're looking at the surge, 7,087 just this year in the first 220 days, that's 35 a day. 7,800 abducted, they disappeared, can't find them anymore. 19,100 churches have been destroyed. Imagine you going to church. Imagine on Sunday, you just don't take your kids to church. All you want to do is go pray, maybe, sing a little bit, worship music, listen to the pastor, the preacher, what they have to say, the priest. 19,100 churches have been destroyed. By the way, 10,000 schools have been destroyed that are teaching Christian theology to kids, certain values that they have. And in Nigeria, specific areas, they're being targeted. Now, who is doing the targeting to these Christian communities, these Catholic churches? Many of these guys are the jihadists, one of the leaders being Boko Haram since 2009, later splintering into ISIS West Africa province, the ISWAP and Ansaru, conducting mass killing, forcing conversions, and abductions. And you're seeing this in the news. I'm going to put a picture here for you to see on what's going on. This is what they look like. They're just going around targeting Christians, burning homes, seizing land, destroying harvest, sexual violence. And the way they're going about doing it is they're going at night when you're asleep, night assaults on villages, church seizures and burnings, mass kidnapping, land grab, creating no-go zones for Christian natives. And families are sitting there saying, what do I do? I just want to go to church. I can't.
When this thing started, it was more like a child split in 2009. I remembered that. They said, oh, these guys were just, Yusuf was the name of the leader then. Oh, they were just, a group of young guys who opposed imperialism and who aided the way education is being run, that it was just more of them bringing the Western values into the northern side of the country. That was their whole whatever. Then they formed into a pressure group. Then what happens? The politicians started patronizing them. When they need votes, they go to Boko Haram and say, you know what, help us organize this and that. Then what happened? Boko Haram became very, very powerful because now they have someone in government that they help put there. Then it became so powerful. Then once they become so powerful, they started getting arms and all of that. The governor wanted to actually find a final solution to that. So they arrested the head of the Boko Haram guy, which his name was actually Yusuf. Between them arresting the guy, okay, and trying to, bring him to justice, between the police, the courts, and this Boko Haram guy, the guy just was unalived all of a sudden in a day. Unalived. And there was no explanation given to what really happened. So the word out there was that the first leader of Boko Haram, who we assume was not a terrorist, okay, was just more like a pressure group guy, was assassinated by the powers of the day. And as a result of that, remember I told you they were becoming powerful. They had this pressure group. Then you started having people attack police stations because they believed that the police station was actually the one that killed the first Boko Haram leader. So they'll go to police stations, start killing them. And then before you know it, some of them started saying that, you know what, we need to be more radical. We need to make a statement. And the first thing, then you had the first bombing, which was I think it was the Teachers Union building in Abuja. Then you had the first bombing. Before you know it, you started having splinter groups. Before you know it, you started having foreign monies coming to Boko Haram. And now it's become a mess. Now, when that happened, some of them believed that they should just be attacking police offices and churches and not mosque. Some other believes that, you know what, we attack anybody. We want to be known as the most deadly terrorist. And then from that, you had different individuals come in. There were times you had factions. There were times you would hear that, oh, they've killed the head of the Boko Haram, just for him to surface in another video. So just giving you the background to how we got here. I have no doubt in my mind that you have this terrorist group being used by politicians, being used by foreign interests, being used by various terrorist groups around the world. That Boko Haram became a world-known terrorist group all over the world and has been spoken about by various even presidents of the United States of America.
It's our service with everything that's going on. I mean, we get the challenge with our faith a lot of times. How strong is our faith? Is our faith as strong as this guy? They're still in church. They're still there praying. They're still singing to worship music, even though all this stuff's going on. You hear guys talking about, they killed my family. They killed my parents. They burned my house down. They burned my relative's house down. They burned my kid's house down. All I have left is this shirt I'm wearing. Here's what the fellow is talking about. I want you to watch these two clips. One of them is them still going to church on a Sunday, and one of them talking about what happened to him and his family.
My family members, they died in this house, 11, and some died in the other stores. Here and up, my house is up there. That place also is burned. And the store where I pack my goods, I store my goods everywhere, has burned. They burned my clothes, they burned everything, they burned our food. All my family members, what we kept out with is our food.
I think also one of the churches that was burnt down, there's been testimonies from various Christians where they'll tell you that I didn't even know what would happen. They come in, they do things that are crazy. Things that I can't even say on live to the families. And these are Islamist extremist group. I'm just surprised how the government of Nigeria will come out with a bold face and say, no, Christians are not being persecuted. Oh, no, they are not being persecuted. It's propaganda. I mean, the numbers are there. 125 Christians killed from 2009. While, the pastors in the South, they're still going on their yachts, their private jets, their brand new cars, their Rolls Royce. That's the reality of what we have in Nigeria today.
The criticism that a lot of mainstream media gets is, what's the purpose of me showing this? It's just Christians. I mean, it's just Christians, but we have to show anything else to raise the temperature and make sure people are angry and go out there protesting. Free Palestine, that's what we need. We need rage. Christians, give me a break. If you're going to go out there and kill 49 Christians in Democratic Republic of Congo that were killed by machetes, not a big story, right? We shouldn't share this if we're mainstream media. Some victims are beheaded and burned, but we don't need to really talk about it a lot because it's just Christians. We need to really get into the story and then hear stories that's going on in Canada. You got Justin Trudeau, 112 churches burned in Canada, Catholic churches, and Justin Trudeau, former prime minister, gets up there and says, well, I understand their rage. I mean, you have to watch this to believe what the former leader of Canada had to say about all the church burnings that was going on in Canada. Here's Justin Trudeau for you.
Acts of vandalism and arson are being seen across the country, including against Catholic churches. One of my reflections is I understand the anger that's out there against institutions like the Catholic Church. It is real and it is fully understood.
You understand the outrage. Individuals that don't even know what happened during those periods. They come out to say, oh, maybe this and that happened, and the story about it and all of that. This is becoming a daily occurrence, not daily, but a frequent occurrence in Canada where you just have churches being burnt. What is really happening now? At times, even if you go to Quebec in Canada, you just see some of these groups just come in and they say they want to actually do their prayers, their Muslim prayers, in the cathedral. Or they say in front of the church. What would not be accepted to be done in mosques and other places? This is the reality. But when it's Christians, we understand. They are Christians, so, whatever happens, nobody has given this thing more life than a lot of the, even hosts outside of Nigeria. And it's a problem. You have the biggest, one of the most powerful Christians ministers in the world. You have most of them in Nigeria. But it took Bill Maher. Bill Maher is someone that doesn't even believe in God, I believe. He doesn't even really care. He's not a Christian. He doesn't care about anything. He was the one that mentioned it. And he just mentioned this thing in passing. He wasn't really even going to say, I'm going to do a segment about the killings of Christians in Nigeria. No, he was trying to just draw the false equivalence. There are millions of Muslims dying in other countries, in Yemen. You have the war in Sudan and all of those. Nobody is even really giving it attention. Everybody just wants to talk about Israel is bad. And this is the reality, okay?
And by the way, I got a list of other places to read. The only reason I'm showing you Justin Trudeau is because it's not just happening in Africa or Syria and it's happening in the West as well. We can tell you some of the stuff that's going on in Arizona that happened recently. This is taking place, and so a lot of Christians are saying, hey, what do we do about this? Do we just sit around and not do anything? What can we do about this? Some are saying, hey, well, that's why we need a crusade. There's a spiritual warfare going on. That's what we need right now. We need to get louder. Some are saying mainstream media should talk about it. Well, if they're not, we should talk about it. We will. Some are saying, well, maybe Christians are not understanding the whole concept of tolerance. We should be tolerant. We should be tolerant. Well, there's an example of a guy that wasn't tolerant, it was Jesus. This concept of being tolerant towards who? towards everybody, allowing all this stuff to happen. I used to pray for 4 things for many years. 20 years I was praying for courage, wisdom, tolerance, understanding. I told my kids, we're not praying for tolerance anymore. If someone's pushing the envelope, make some noise, do something about it, right? We're seeing all this stuff that's happening over here. God forbid if something happens to, Muslim or a different denomination or Jews, everybody wants to talk about it. Oh my God, you won't believe what happened. How about Christians? Do they have a valid argument here that people are making? I think they do. But there's maybe not a business model in trying to help Christians out. Maybe there isn't. Maybe Christians who are sitting around right now, and we're seeing everybody wearing a Ukraine pin, which, by the way, to people that believe in that, I support the fact that you do. How many of you guys are wearing a Nigeria pin right now with the Christians over there that are going through what's going on to them? Who's wearing that? When's the last time you wore that? Are you really sporting it? Maybe you're a Christian yourself. Are you? I don't know. All I'm saying is, it's unfortunate that mainstream media that's not talking about these types of stories. We definitely will. When you're sitting out looking at the countries with the most Christians in it, at the top is U.S., then you have Brazil, then Mexico, then Nigeria is at the 4th place with most Christians. You think some people like them being there? Maybe not. We're seeing what's going on with UK. We're seeing what's going on with immigration. We're seeing what's going on with, you should just let anybody into your country. Who cares if you lose your national value? Who cares if people are in your country who hate you? It's okay. That's part of freedom of speech. Really? Yeah, it's okay. Today I was looking at 2 things. You know what countries' Bibles are illegal to buy and sell? Go try buying a Bible in Iran. See what happens to you. By the way, go try buying a Bible in Iran in Farsi. You won't find it.
It's not propaganda. This guy is actually from Iran. The guy speaking is from Iran. It's from the Passion group in Iran. He's a Christian, but he's also from Iran. So he knows what he's talking about. This is not just a propaganda, outlet. It's just trying to make some points.
The people that are Assyrians and Armenians can have Bibles in Iran, but you can't put it in Farsi and distribute it. That's illegal. Go to Saudi Arabia and see if you can sell a Bible in Saudi Arabia in Arabic, because that's a form of, conversion. You're trying to get people converted into Christianity. In America, we're like, it's okay. Sell it on Amazon, Quran, whatever you want to sell. Go sell it. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech. Maybe there's a place for it, but at the same time, those other countries don't want Christians to be growing. And we're like, but it's their country. They get to create their laws. But in America, it's like, no, we're okay with everything that happens here. Maybe not. But I believe there needs to be more of a discussion here with this, and more of a topic and more of a debate. And we're not having enough of it right now. There are so many other debates that have 99% of Twitter, X, YouTube, everywhere. How many debates about this topic? Maybe not enough. Maybe we need to get a little bit louder. And maybe if you're watching this right now saying, honestly, I didn't know about that with Saudi Arabia. I didn't know that about Iran. Go ChatGPT it. Go look it up for yourself. Do you think they should be selling Bibles? Why don't they? Why are we allowing everybody? Are we a little bit too tolerant in America? I don't know. It's a good question to ask, and you can answer it for yourself. I don't know where you're going with this. Are you insinuating the fact that we shouldn't be able to do this? More and more mayors with other denominations who hate America are creating policies, and we have certain cities in America that the police department has the language written in Arabic. This is America. What are you talking about? This is America is what we're talking about. No, we should do it. We should do it. It's okay. We should do it. We got folks who work for the government in certain areas of Dearborn and Michigan that are saying, I hope one day you get kicked out of the city and I will celebrate and put a parade together so you can never come back here again, because your type doesn't belong here. Your type? He's an American. What do you mean your type? You hate America, go back to your country. Your type. Ilhan Omar talking all the stuff she's saying about Charlie Kirk.
I have nothing to apologize for. It is a tragedy that Charlie Kirk was killed in that way. I feel for his widow.
Is it tragedy that Charlie Kirk was killed in that way? What do you mean? So he could have been killed, but not just in that way. I mean, this guy, and again, you see, the liberalism of the West is going to be what would eventually, if care is not taken, be its own undoing. You see, you see people where, they move them everywhere. Okay, come as refugees, we're going to help you. This woman came to the United States as a refugee, Now it's known that a family was actually not a real refugee because she belonged to the family that was oppressing people in Somalia. That is, a family was part of the ruling class. That the man had to leave because the people rose up against our own parents. Now she's in the United States making so many disgusting statements, even about 9/11. The clips are out there. And that's quite unfortunate.
And his children, they will have to live with that for the rest of their lives. But there is no legacy to honor.
There's always a
It was a
right?
legacy filled with bigotry, hatred, and white supremacy.
He was not a hero. He was a bigot. A bigot. What are you, lady? Go back to Somalia. You hear her videos talking about to her country that one day my hopes is to go out and create some change because I want to come back to my homeland, which is Somalia. Go back already. Should we sit there and allow these people to create policies who absolutely hate America? I have a very big problem with that. If you run a company, your employees hate your company, would you keep them? Or would you tell them, go find another company you love? I would tell them, go find another company you love. If you're dating somebody who hates you and your family, would you stay with her? Would you stay with them? Would you tolerate them? Why are we doing that in America? I don't know. But it's a fair question that many are asking me. They're connecting me saying, why are people not talking about this? You have a very valid point. We're going to. And hopefully that influences some of you guys talk about this more as well. So if you're watching this, and again, you got some things in here that got your blood pressure a little bit higher, saying, you know what, I'm with them. I'm not okay with this. Share this with as many people as possible and ask them the questions. Do you agree with them? What do you think about what he has to say in this video? And let's see what people have to say about it. But I do think this is something that more of us need to be talking about. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you're
subscribe to my channel too and subscribe to his channel. Okay, I think, I'm not subscribed. Okay, that's it. So again, that's the reality of what is happening. Just yesterday, you go to the UK, see what's happening in the UK. Anti-Semitic knife attack. Oh, you're saying it's the gun, right? Okay, so they took the guns away, from citizens of the United Kingdom. And then what we have now is a 35-year-old man of Syrian descent, Jihad. I mean, your name is even Jihad. Jihad al-Shami rammed his car into pedestrians and stabbed 2 worshippers. See what happened? Stabbed 2 worshippers. This happened in the UK just yesterday. Just yesterday. Greater Manchester police shot him dead and arrested 3 others on suspicions of aiding the plot. Forensic evidence indicates 1 death and 1 injury resulted from police gunfire during the response. Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Homeland Security. This Prime Minister, this guy, is a big no-no. He's a big no-no. They need to get rid of him as fast as possible. But then he just came in just a few months ago. And the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, they've taken over. UK is already taking over. And the problem is, I don't have any problem if you want to practice your religion. Let me put that out there. Okay, you want to be a Muslim? Fine. But when you get into a country that has been built on Judeo-Christian values, and you're saying that they have to change the laws because you left wherever you were, and there was a problem there, and because you moved into another country, then you're not saying that you have to change the culture because of you, then that's the problem. Shabana Mahmood, okay, condemned the attack, pledging enhanced security for Jewish community amidst rising anti-Semitism. I don't want to hear about this rising Semitism from people who just a few days ago were honoring those Hamas people by trying to say, oh, we're going to give them what they want. We're going to give them what they want. Oh, they said, no, it's not the Hamas people, it's the Palestinian. But they all voted for Hamas. 80%. They all said they loved whatever happened in October 7th. And again, when you give them that right, or when you give them that ability to, You know, this is what happens. They come into your country, they come in like, oh, we're refugees or things are not going well for us, accept us, you accept them. They say, oh, we're being marginalized, you give them more. Then after a while, they come up and say, you know what, you're going to change things. Their plan is to dominate the West. That's the ultimate plan. So they're not coming to the West to live in peace. No. And that's why the rules and the laws in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, against all these, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they are Muslim countries. The laws in Dubai and Abu Dhabi against these extremists is really, really strict. You can't go to Dubai and start saying that this thing and start, unaliving people. No, you can't. They won't even allow you. So if Dubai and Abu Dhabi is aware of the danger of extremism and they're doing that, then how come we in the West were just so careless? You understand? Why is it that we're so careless? I'm telling you. I don't know. That's just my own take here. Why is it that we're so careless? We don't even really care. And they're saying that, you know what? If Europe is not careful, you're going to see some level of extremism. Let me see if I can get that clip. Okay, I got it. Let me move it here so that you can see. I'm not blabbing. When I come here to talk, I know what I'm talking about.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance. And
that's it. There'll be a day. There'll be a day when what you've called this is at least as you can see, this is a Muslim from the United Arab Emirates talking. So this is not me just trying to raise some form of fake stuff. There'll be a day when you see extreme radicalism. There might be a day when you have an Islamic country that used to be a Christian country with nuclear capacity and capabilities. Nuclear weapon, that's what I mean. So again, that's the reality. You might hate it, you might like it, you might not like what I'm saying, but this is the real risk. When Boko Haram started, they didn't start as this extremist group that is looking for Christians to kill, and then later looking for government officials to kill, and now they're just killing everybody, including Muslims. Nigeria used to be a loving country, a peaceful country. There were tensions here and there. There were killings here and there too. I'm not oblivious of the fact, but it wasn't at this level of extremism that we're seeing today. Seriously. And it's crazy.
In the African nation of Nigeria, millions of Christians are persecuted by Islamic terror groups. The Nigerian government is doing very little to stop the attacks. Well, now religious freedom advocates, including one member of the U.S. Congress, are taking action. CBN's Kelly Wright has this look at the crisis.
On this very day, 210 persons were slaughtered in one night, in less than 24 hours.
The video from the Father's Day massacre.
This video is just from 1 month ago. And you can see they're referencing June. So this is 2025. This is not one old news. Okay.
There includes graphic images of people being burned alive, families attacked, and homes destroyed in Yelawata, Nigeria.
That very day, it was raining. So planning herdsmen, they invaded the community and claimed so many lives.
Around 12 midnight, we started having calls from Yelawata that the Fulanis have come and they are killing, burning.
Friday night, I was sleeping in my house. See my house there. I come here, they shoot gun. Later, they come, they break this house. Where my brother is sleeping here with his children. Thereby, they come, they kill people. They were breaking the house. Say, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar.
These first-hand accounts gathered by Truth Nigeria journalists describe the ongoing atrocities in a terror campaign to eradicate Nigeria's Christians. Judd Saul, filmmaker and missionary, the organizer of Equipping the Persecuted, highlighted this documentary as a way to sound the alarm.
We need to fight this thing threefold. One, America as a government needs to get involved with a very little. I'm talking very little of our resources. If we just did the very little bit of push an aggressive foreign policy, throw some sanctions, whatever it takes, I think we can put a significant dent in this and put a stop to this.
U.S. Representative Chris Smith of New Jersey, who has traveled to many dangerous areas in Nigeria, has introduced a resolution in Congress to help stop attacks fueled by religious hatred.
There has been an exponential increase in attacks on Christians and some Muslims, but Christians in particular. Protestants, evangelicals, Catholics, they're firebombing their churches. The Fulani are killing them with absolute impunity. We've called on the government in Abuja and the president several times to do what governments do, law enforcement. Use the military if you have to, but stop this genocide and do it now.
The resolution points to Nigeria's government's apparent open border policy that allows almost free access to the country. Fulani militants and ISIS-linked extremist groups from neighboring countries take advantage of this policy to carry out mass murder, rape, and kidnappings.
We're also calling on President Trump to reissue, which he did in his first term, the designation of country of particular concern. And that then gives the president wide latitude to impose sanctions. It's an excellent bill when it's used properly. It gets the attention of all the policymakers, in this case in Abuja. It says, we're not kidding.
During a White House press briefing, I asked Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the crisis in Nigeria.
And do you know if there's any action that the president will take?
I'm not tracking a call between the president and the head of Nigeria. I know the president wholeheartedly condemns the persecution of Christians or, frankly, of people of any faith all over the world, but I don't have any updates for you in terms of sanctions in this part of the world.
Looking beyond any government response, Judd Saul is calling on the church and Christians in America to stand with the persecuted in Nigeria.
They need to pray. They need to be a voice for the voiceless. They need to be a voice for our persecuted brothers and sisters.
Kelly Wright, CBN News.
Well, whatever pressure we can put on the Nigerian government, we need to put it on the Nigerian government. They're the one responsible for the safety of their own citizens.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
to let these armed groups have sort of free reign in the northern part of Nigeria makes no sense. And I don't understand that these sort of continual struggles coming out of Nigeria. You need to establish law and order in your own country. You can't have your women, your girls kidnapped. You can't have people murdered in the streets. You can't have these churches burned to the ground.
And again, not just Christians alone, because I know some Muslims also, they're also being, attacked by these people. But again, in whatever location, whatever area, wherever all this happens, the first casualty, the first place is once they see that cross on your building, you're an easy target. You're an easy target. So, and I've also said also in the past that, Tinubu's tried in doing a lot of reforms when it comes to the economy. But in terms of security, I think the government has not really pulled his weight. Or it seems like they're confused as to not knowing even what to do with respect to this. So again, I'm just saying, this is not, I'm not trying to say it's only Christians that are affected by all of these things. I'm saying Muslims are also equally affected, but in an huge proportion, you have more Christians that are being impacted, especially they are more like the first place. I did a video like a few days ago where even in Kwara State, people can't go to church. The young man videoed everything and said, see, this is Sunday. This church houses like 1,000 people and there's nobody there. Everywhere was quiet. People have moved. So what they do is they they attack churches, they attack these villages, they move, and then they take over the place. And there's also certain level of complicity when it comes to the military, because I don't understand how you could have a force and there is no serious investigation, not even just battling these extremists at the battlefield, but knowing the links and where this thing comes from. Because I'm telling you, all these guys that are doing this attack, they're just those at the lower end of the ladder. There are kingpins, there are individuals, there are real big leaders, politicians, maybe also foreign interesting organizations that are linked to all of these things happening. So again, I'm telling you, this falls right now on the table of Tinubu, and he is, to be the number one person held responsible for whatever is happening. Not Trump trying to put in a policy. No, you are the president. People voted for you. Okay.
All of that is happening, and it's happening on their watch. So whatever we can do as United States citizens to petition our government and to support this bill in Congress, and then move on the administration and the State Department to do the very necessary work of saying, look, it's time for you to stand up for your own people. It's time for you to protect Nigerians. So let's do our part, and hopefully the government there will respond and do.
Joining us now is Bernard Tatun.
Okay, so that's it. Hopefully that is resolved. I mean, there's a lot of videos here, right? You see people being killed. You see these are international news. Look at it. These are international news. You can see that. Let me see if I can move this here. Okay, you see Christian genocide in Nigeria. Christians have been hunted and murdered.
African nation of Nigeria.
Okay, we've seen this one. The violence is relentless. Why are people talking about this now? Well, I guess it's time to talk about it, and that's what it is. I would hope that there can be a real solution to all of this, because if you're not careful, something that started as far as you have Borno and all of those places, now you're feeling that impact in where's it called again? In Kwara State. Kwara State is not one far stuff. It's just next door. It's next door to the southwestern states. And we've seen what happened at Owo, where you had 50 worshippers, Christian worshippers, go to church on a Sunday. And these extremists just went into the church and opened fire. Right now, if you have any of these churches in Nigeria, you need to start taking your security serious. You need to have people that are armed that could guard. You could have volunteers from your church members, because that's the only way, to stop all this nonsense from happening. And I wish and I pray for those that have paid the ultimate price, lost their lives and loved ones. I pray that, they will find comfort in the Holy Spirit, because that's just the only thing. Because we know that that's the ultimate sacrifice. Just like Stephen the martyr, started being the first person killed for the sake of Christ. And Jesus already said, as Christians, they were going to suffer persecution that will be true to the word, that will be true to the gospel. One other thing also, that the churches in the South that live in affluence will open their hearts and mind and see the plight of their northern brothers and sisters and rise to their aid, either through pressuring the government, to trying to bring, intelligent approach to stop all these menace. And that's that about that. I'm gonna move on right now. I know the issue between Dangote and Pengerson is I think there's been some level of I would say truce that has been established. But again, as things goes on, I would really, when I saw the interview that was granted by Oshiomhole, because we know that he was also one of those union leaders before he saw the light. I want to hear his perspective, because I think his perspective is very important. I've done a lot of videos on this, but I'm really interested in his perspective.
After weeks of disagreements, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association and Dangote Refinery finally agreed with the intervention of the federal government. Pengerson, which represents oil workers, suspended its industrial action after talks with government officials and the management of the Dangote refinery, but warned that the suspension is only temporary. The strike, which began on Sunday after...
I don't think it's going to be temporary. I think they've been able to... They capitulated to Dangote. Dangote says, okay, we're going to bring these guys back. We're going to put them in wherever, but they're not coming back to the refinery. Okay, they can go to Dangote flour and be mixing whatever, but they're not going to come back to Dangote refinery. So again, I think Dangote won, because now wherever they put them in all these other companies, they'll be under serious scrutiny, and they're going to be watching them. So it becomes very, very difficult for those 800 people. I hope they're able to sort themselves out and get their own life in order. But again, I think they were just used as pawns by Pengerson. That doesn't justify the firing, okay, but I'm just saying this is the reality on ground.
Over alleged anti-union practices at the refinery paralyzed parts of Nigeria's oil and gas operations before Wednesday's truce. The union had accused the refinery of dismissing hundreds of workers for becoming union members. But the company denied the claims, saying only a few were fired for acts of sabotage. Nigeria's Ministry of Labour reminded both sides that unionization is a fundamental right. Pengerson had threatened to block the delivery of crude and gas to the Dangote refinery, a move the company contested in court. Joining us on the show to discuss the truce brokered by the federal government between Pengerson and Dangote is Senator Adams Oshiomhole, senator representing Edo North Senatorial District. Good morning, Comrade Adams. Comrade Senator Adams Oshiomhole, you're most welcome.
Ex-comrade, just to put it lightly, ex-comrade.
To the morning show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You have the history actually for being our first, in-studio guest on the morning show in a brand new studio.
Yes, actually.
Wow. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
I hope I get bonus for that. We work out.
Comrade,
Well, they're really paying you to
it's
say
very good to see you.
Thank you.
The last time I read from you, you said if you saw Ruben Abati, there would be a boxing match.
Yes. Outside the studio.
Well, it's good to see you laughing and dancing. This subject that we're discussing with you, it's about labor. I recall many years back, I wrote a piece titled Oshiomhole, the People's President. You used to fight this same kind of battle that Pengerson is fighting against Abacha, against President Obasanjo. Now, what do you think of this conflict between Pengerson, that has now suspended its strike, and Dangote Refinery, and the implications for labor union rights and also Nigeria's drive towards industrialization?
Well, thank you very much. This is a very complex issue on a good day. I won't want to discuss it, my honest opinion in public, because what can easily be misunderstood. This is my life. I am a labor man from the age of 18 up to becoming president of the NLC. I believe that it is not even constitutional right. It is a God-given right for human beings to associate in pursuance of their common interests as defined by them. These are hard core values I subscribe to, and they also were guaranteed in the Nigeria Constitution under Section 40. I have to be careful because I know you quote law most of the time. The other is the trade union right recognizes, the trade union law recognizes the right of an employee to belong to a union. And we did battle over many years whether it should be your right to contract in or you contract out. Because the problem with the freedom of association is that it also includes the freedom to refuse to associate with a particular association, which is the way you balance it. Otherwise, it becomes something obligatory that you cannot contract out from. So the employer has his right, the employee has his right. I do not have all the details, and when you have arguments such as this, which is not traced to me, why an employee is relieved of his duty and why union believed the process was unfair or unjust, because union business is basically based on fairness, as defined by them. But what I'm not sure is right is the ease with which Ferguson resorted to escalating the matter to a secondary level, what you call the secondary solidarity, to a point of shutting down the oil sector. I think that he's seeking to protect a particular set of workers. You do not then risk the job of several other workers. Now, how you draw the balance, Mr. I'll give an example, sir. We had a big battle with Union Bank of Nigeria, where they decided that if a husband and wife are working in Union Bank, even if one is in Maduguri, the other one is illegal, why should go? I think Mr. Luge was the MD of Union Bank then. And I said this was anti-family policy. When I say, and I'm in the NSC, we took that resolution at a convention. We wrote a letter to the management to it as a secondary organization. And they didn't take us serious. We had to find ways and means of shutting down the First Bank. But we didn't have to shut down all the banks, even though we had the capacity, obviously, so to do. Because we recognize that the sin of, the alleged sin of First Bank cannot be said to apply to others, except if those other people complain to us, then we know what to do. Now I saw people came to me to say, we are not at work today, those working in the oil industry. What's happening? Oh, there's a problem in Dangote. Oh, and then I started witnessing long queues, etc., etc. Reason Pegasus has decided that NNPC be shut down. Several other companies shut down. I'm like, no, you don't rush because of this sensitivity. You know, in pursuing war, you have to recognize that the tools you deploy must be such that they do not undermine other people's jobs, which should be of concern to the trade unions as well. Yeah. For example, those people selling tomatoes who can't get fuel to buy because there is a quarrel between one Dangote refinery as a company and one union called Pegasus. Those are things I thought that Pegasus ought to take into account and pursue this principle. Secondly, this is the last point I will make. When you are dealing with a private sector employer, I come from the private sector background. In the trade union movement, you have those in the public sector and those in the private sector. In the private sector, when a new company is coming in, we allow them deliberately, just the way in which government grants grant tax holidays to encourage an employer to come in or an investor to come in. We also allow companies a certain number of years to consolidate and then begin to make money. Then at that point, you can now organize. And then the company is in a position to, you know, I know that Dangote was commissioned just before President Buhari left office, but it commenced production several months after. So.
And again, I think I agree with him, and that's why I really wanted to hear him speak about this whole issue, because Dangote, to be honest with you, is already on the edge. They've done everything to frustrate that guy. So I understand where he's coming from. Now, it's not as if Dangote is a just man or Dangote is a very clean businessman. I'm just saying that he is aware that there are deliberate efforts being made to sabotage his refineries. from the tanker drivers to the politicians to various international competitors. So he's been on this thing for how many years now? He's been frustrated. So again, from a business owner point of view, he kind of has certain right. And again, given the way, most of these unions work in Nigeria, where at times they're also for their own personal gains, you could see that the argument between the union and the Dangote is split between two. Some people were like, no, what's Pengason's business with Dangote refineries? They've been in this so-called oil business for a while. None of the refineries working. So there's a deliberate effort, to paint Pengason as the bad guy. And there are also those people that feel like, you know what, even if you're on hedge, if you feel like they want to frustrate Dangote refineries' effort, you cannot just come in a day and sack almost 30% of your workforce without you giving them a serious warning. You were working with them, you were processing their remittances and giving them that feeling that you are going to work with them for them to join Pengason. Just all of a sudden, you just terminated them overnight. So that's where I feel Dangote didn't do well.
Basically about a year and a half.
Yes.
Given the size of the business and all the controversies and even issues arising from where you get your crude, whether NNPC says to you, whether IOCs can send the crude overseas and then you pay a premium before you can get it, all of those issues are still being dealt with. Right. Even as a Senate, we try to intervene in all of that. I thought that Pengason should recognize that an employer has to exist, mature, be strong enough to guarantee good paying jobs.
All right. Thank you so much. I think you've made very important points, and expectedly so. I'd often talked about the importance of labor unions because following this, conflict between Pengason, Nurtw, and Dangote refinery, a number of people have even questioned the importance or relevance of labor unions in Nigeria. Now, I put a question forward to Mr. Esele as to how can we strengthen unions so that they are restored to the glory days. Off air, we're just talking about during your time, you were able to have bring out meaningful outcomes from your interactions with government. But now all we see is just interactions, only a few people benefit, and the people are not really well represented in terms of their welfare. What are they doing wrong? Because we cannot, I don't think we should do without labor unions, but it seems as if sometimes they're overreaching, sometimes it looks like they're not representing the interests of the people they're supposed to be.
Thank you. I also think that there's something that is missing, the role of the government, of the Ministry of Labour. If you look at the labor laws, there is enough room for the Ministry of Labour to ensure that the process and procedures are observed before you evoke that weapon. But oftentimes, this is lost. For example, at what point can you involve people who are not directly involved in a conflict? All of this is where they are covered for. Obviously, no country, in my view, and studies have shown that where you have unions, the country are not necessarily less profitable than where you don't have unions. So trade unions is not an obstacle to profit making. Yeah. Indeed, many sociologists have argued that when people have the right to associate and ventilate their feelings and have a channel to negotiate with employer and have what seems to be an agreement, not just an imposition, there is a greater sense of belonging and therefore a more positive attitude to work, resulting in better productivity. There are many things that I'm personally disappointed about. For example, what is going on in many of the private sector, like the banking sector. It shocks me that as we speak, about 60% or more of bank employees are contract staff.
Yes, very true.
Wow. What it means that these employees who dress well as if they are bankers, when they are thrown out, they have no gratuity. They are contract staff. They are not employees of the bank. The bank, in my view, illegally and immorally, I emphasize morality because law can't cover everything. They set up a secondary employment agency. They also become a private sector employer. They use that vehicle to recruit and then deploy to their bank, invoice a certain amount of money, for example, 500,000 naira in the name of Oshomole as a worker of back X, and then the labor contractor is paid 500 naira. He told pay me 200, and the labor employer pocketed 300. I will find out who is this labor employer. Is the same owners and directors and shareholders or associates of the bank. Those, for me, are practices that must be stopped.
Yeah.
You know, and
And I fully agree with that because, like, for example, I know that I see a lot of stories about this. Like just as we're watching that, I just wanted to just watch this for some level of perspective.
I pray this period, the peace of the Lord will abide with us and our families in Jesus' name. After the video I posted on Wednesday went viral, I got a lot of reactions from a lot of people, friends, family, enemies.
So we just put it in context. This guy is a banker, and now that Oshomole mentioned about banking, talked about banking, that most of them are contract staff, and I know of this. That you just have people there for years, no promotion, they're not made permanent staff, they're on the same salary level. Then maybe after 5 years they just review it, and they can't even cover basic living costs.
Some hailing me, some bashing me, while some were praising me for being bold enough to come out to say the truth. Well, people were asking, is it a full staff? I'm a contract staff. I'm not happy about it. I'm shy about it, but at this point, I'm no longer shy about it. People spoke about me not upgrading myself. Who told you? I'm a BSc holder and I have master's degree, but I've never used them, and I'll tell you why. Now, in 2014, when I had my BSc, my bank was recruiting. They were doing conversion. I applied, but I was not lucky. Why? ASU was on strike. Senate had not approved our results, so I couldn't get it. Our VC even wrote my school, my bank, and it was still not accepted. Well, I moved on. Ever since then, I've been trying to get a job. I've applied to barely all the banks, barely all the factories. I've applied to Dangote, I've applied to O&O, Nestle, Nigeria Breweries, Coca-Cola, all these companies, you can name them. I'm on Jobberman, I'm on Indeed, I'm on all these hospitals. I even applied for teaching.
So again, just putting that in context, I'll move out of that. That's the reality that most people, especially in the banks, they just get stuck. They get stuck for years, and they're not able to move on. And by the time they are ready to move on, there's nothing to show for it. So again, I understand from that perspective where Oshomole is coming from. Why do you keep people for years, decades of years, if you don't have a plan for them? And again, you could be like, oh, so they should just leave. Well, at times, it's not that easy, and it's not that black and white.
Before I left the NSC, I reorganized and we compelled at least 2-3 banks, I wouldn't want to mention their name, to order or allow union to exist, or we have to do what we have to do. And when they could do escape, they accepted. But what I found out later is that they just pay what I call protection fee. Every month, they issue a check to the unions, but the union don't really exist. They don't have negotiating rights, because if they do exist, they could allow 80%, 70% of their employees to be contract staff. And so I said to them, the last time I had a conversation with the NSC president, this is protection fee, there's no union. Okay. Because the bank do whatever they want. Okay. There are several others. Now you have state governors who insist, and as we speak, are not paying the minimum wage. Okay. I can't live with that. Okay. Okay. So there are a couple of things the union must do. You need them. But union must be able to carry out the proper process. At which point do we do what? And if we take this line of action, who will be affected? There's also the fact that the workers spend only 8 hours at work. The remaining 16 hours is outside the workplace.
Okay. I'd like to ask you this. The internal mechanics of the union, there's also been some actors in the union that have, pulled the union to themselves, and other interests and voices are not being heard in the union. There's also the conversation about talents. Who is even the head of the union? Because you stated something just now. that in your time you will not go for the jugular like pulling everything down and calling for that strike that will ground the energy sector, which is a national security risk. But this union did it. They did it. So it speaks to talent and training. It speaks to the fact that some persons feel that they are the union itself and they've pulled the union to themselves, which was not the case in your time. There was flourishing of ideas. Before you became president, you were, secretary to somebody over the years and you learned through the rope. But today we don't see that again. In fact, we have people that are heading two unions at the same time.
So he's talking about the president of Pengerson, that is also the president of TUC. No?
Like Festus Osifo, he's head of TUC. He's also president of Pengerson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it depends on their roles. In the NLC, as president of the NLC, I had to resign my position as general secretary of the Textile Workers Union. So I am not sure of the status of Osifo. I don't think he's a full-time president of his union. I don't think this is really at the heart.
What does that mean? That doesn't really... He's not a full-time president, so he's a what? He's a part-time president? You can only have one president at a point in time. So why... What does that... I don't even get what...
Of it. It depends on their constitution and relevant sections of the Labour Act, of the Trade Union Act. But, I have some difficulties.
I know, as a former union man. Yes, you don't want to be seen castigating union.
But it's for the strength of
the union.
Yeah, but there are a couple of things that, there are the do's and the don'ts.
We know.
I keep saying that those national strikes that we organized, and I led them, and I put everything to it. The issues in quotation were issues that will affect every Nigerian, and therefore there is already merit in asking every Nigerian to back those actions and taking every means possible to ensure that as much as possible people comply, to a point that on the street of Lagos, people are playing football, which means people bought into the issue, and we have put them across to the public. We have argued them with government. Then we didn't even have these so many alternative media, which was also a challenge. But even within the small space NTA provide, we are able to prove that this is why we have to do what we are doing and show how far we've gone before we got to this point. So I think there is a huge gap in terms of the capacity to mobilize. I also suspect, I don't have any proof, but my experience is that before you shut the gates of NNPC, there has to be a fight. So when I saw NNPC gate effortlessly closed, all the other companies, government-owned oil companies, without any effort, closed. I'm like, if these were private employers, would they allow their company to close without any resistance and they roll out their wages at the end of the month? I do not think so. So why is everybody seemingly so helpless that we are at the mercy of anyone? You can show that the economy, and we are told we are lost 30%, gas reduction has been reduced, and so on and so forth. There are laws regulating this. Before you take those measures, you are ready for a fight, right? And the workers, for them to follow, must see the linkage between their well-being and what is at stake. Not workers coming to work and, oh, today there's no work, we have a problem. I really think that in terms of this particular issue, so that we do not go too far out of it, I really think that Dangote Refinery has faced too many pressure points that one begin to wonder. I mean, when people say Dangote is a monopolist, I'm like, would you prefer a monopoly that creates jobs in Nigeria than an importing monopoly, which NNPC became? And my disagreement with the unions in the oil sector is that we were with Peter Osifo. No, not Osifo.
Esele.
When NNPC was privatized by President Obasanjo. So at a point, you have to start cutting your losses. It made sense to sell them as scraps. And the good news is whoever buys them, we put them to work. Now, this was revised by government. Why? NNPC promised they will put these refineries back to work within 6 months. And I'm on record, if you ask Alhaji Dangote, you ask the Imo Governor Soludo. I asked the former, now late, Minister of Petroleum, the guy from Zaria, Rilwan Lukman. I said, what has happened to your promise? You asked for 500 million, you've collected over $2-3 billion. The refineries are dead. Now, I saw Osifo talking about the good pay in the oil sector. Very well. That has to do with the fact that they are privileged to manage that sector for a natural endowment. Everybody knows that the oil is God-given. And those who process it make huge money. And so if they pay good wages, that is very encouraging. But how much is the wage sector? I mean, what is the wage level of those refineries that are not working? Of the worker? Because here we're talking about refining sector, not those operating in the downstream who are doing extraction. So I believe there can be no question in my mind as to the right, inalienable right of people to be involved in unions, but we must also not kill employers. Now, I have never heard any statement or any attempt to condemn the management of NNPC and the agencies for mismanaging resources with regards to the huge outlay in the name of refining Kaduna Refinery, Warri Refinery, and Port Harcourt Refinery. Ministers after ministers give themselves deadlines, which they never kept. And I expect, as a matter of now, patriotism, I will expect the union to say, you are risking our jobs, and an NNPC manager was on record as saying that. They have to keep reporting.
Okay. Thank you.
You are reporting, and you are keeping your job. Okay. And there is argument as to what these are associated with this. Importing Russian oil of lower quality. You are importing diesel of lower quality in the name of competing with local production. What I know everywhere in the world is that unions support industrial policies that encourage local investors. When they have relocated here, and they have started producing, then we can go and organize their workers.
Okay, Senator Comrade Adams Shomale, thank you very much for joining us. On a lighter note, before you go, I'm used to seeing you either in that revolutionary khaki or in a black suit. But now, this is another look. Maybe one of these days I'll do a piece on the sartorial statements of Senator Comrade Adams Shomale.
Your observation is correct. I had challenges last night because I came to Lagos for one informal.
Okay, so that's that about that. And I think I do agree with what he said. For the most part, that you have to protect workers one way or the other. But at the same time, also the businesses that are carrying on this thing, it's not easy. It's not a black and white thing. And I know that everybody always says that Dangote, always do have an upper hand because of his proximity with the government, and because he works very closely with the government of the day. That being said, I think that they should just allow these guys, to possibly, they've said they should go to other Dangote company. Well, that's fine. They should allow them to go to other Dangote company, leave the refinery. But that being said, I think Pengerson also and other labor unions should really revamp. They should be more innovative with the way they do things. The escalation was uncalled for. I mean, that was really, really brutal. Like, you can't shut down the whole country because you didn't have your way. At the same time, Dangote, you can't just sack people summarily because they did something that you didn't even really want them about. You gave them the go-ahead. You talked to them, you told them, oh, fine, we're processing your remittances to the unions and all that. And then just for you to then fire them. So again, I think both parties really, really should just come to a good opinion and let things work out. I want to talk about this Peter Obi stuff. If Peter Obi is not picked in ADC, we'll go back to Labour Party.
The ADC has said that it is not their by principle that they like to leave the field open for everyone to play and let the best man emerge as their presidential candidate. Atiku has, that's the former vice president, has indicated interest in running. A lot of, well, maybe just him. We know that Peter Obi, of course, was to run. He was a presidential candidate in 2023 with the Labour Party. Do you think that that was the right decision to say everybody go to the field, or they should have zoned it, and that could have been
that's where the chaos is going to start. That's where the house divided against itself will fall. That's where you see people now leaving that party again and going into another party. You see, what is going to happen before 2026? There are a lot of things, dramas coming up. Is it Atiku that will allow Peter Obi? When Peter Obi says, my boss is calling me, that's why I said, who is the candidate, who is the presidential character? Is it Peter Obi? Peter Obi have agreed that Atiku is his boss. How can you now be a president? For me, you are not in the league of people or characters that can be president.
What?
I've been in politics now 25 years of my life. I should be able to at least depict and know where the table is standing. I've been in opposition most of the time, except the time I was in PDP. And I've been able to see what we were able to do with Oba Rashidi Ladoja. May Almighty Allah give him a good reign and make Ibadan people have a better life.
My dear brother Oba.
Full experience under his reign. When we left PDP in 2010, we had nothing. 3 months, we developed Accord. We were able to have House of Rep. We were able to have almost a governor. We were able to have a House of Assembly. We held the governor to a ransom over a long period of time. 3 months. Why? Because there's consistency of purpose. We had an agenda. But in 2015, there was no agenda. There was no consistency. And I told my Oga at that time, sir, what we did in 2011 was because we were together and we had a focus. If we're not clear about what we're going to do in 2015, we're going to lose. He said, I've started again. I said, well, that's the reality of what is coming. We lost. The day we lost the election, I was in his house 7 a.m. He said, you have come again. I've just finished shaving a hand. I said, but I told you, sir. So because we might be younger, it doesn't mean we don't have brains. It doesn't mean we don't know the way forward. It doesn't mean we don't know how to do things. The people that govern Nigeria
now, Mr. Ajani, what you're saying now contradicts what you said earlier, because you were saying the fact that you're younger doesn't mean that you do not have brain and how to lead now. Doesn't that also speak for Peter?
That's what I'm saying.
The fact that he calls Atiku his boss, I mean, does that rob him of the ability to lead a nation?
No, he has come out to contest election as the president. Forever he will be known as a contestant to be a president. There's a lot of honor. Why do they? Let me finish.
Doesn't that also speak to good character, to be able to respect someone?
Let me finish. If you're talking about character as a person, I'm not here to talk about Peter Obi, except you want us to make it an issue right now. Peter Obi has served for 8 years. I'm different. I've never served. Wait for me to serve before you can compare. There's no simile. The reason why I'm saying Peter Obi is inconsistent with what he's doing is that he has not remained in one place to govern. We have to see consistency in your policy. The reason why I'm saying I'm younger is because I'm not saying you should not respect your leaders. Okay? As a Yoruba man, if I see my Oba tomorrow, I will prostrate for him because I'm a Yoruba man. That is courtesy, and I'm well trained. This is politics. You left PDP because of a purpose. Why did you leave PDP? You left PDP because you were discerning. You said no to this, not to what Atiku did to you. So what are you joining about now? That's hypocrisy. That's pure hypocrisy. That's not.
So the host like, wow, this one, no, he's not taking it easy on Peter Obi. Again, you see, the truth about this thing is that it is not just, it's a sprint. And every action that Peter Obi has taken, since the 2023 election, would definitely at some point be under scrutiny. Every word that I said during the 2023 elections, they will always play it back to him. That is why you cannot allow yourself, to be confused. Because right now, Peter Obi is more of a confused person. Where does it stand? And you can always say, this guy is bad, Tinubu is bad, and that person is bad. This is another point of view where you've got to understand that what has been given to him, what has he done with it? What has he been able to accomplish with what has been given to him? And I'm saying this with all sincerity. being somebody that I really, really appreciated the fact that, he came in and sticked it up to the ruling party, to the establishment, with well-meaning Nigerians. But the same thing has been when they were looking up to him for leadership in the Labour Party and in other issues surrounding, working with the party, moving the party forward, other things as it relates to opposition, has not been there.
You think he should never have gone to the ADC in the first place?
What is he doing there? Okay, now if they don't give him the ticket, will he not go to Labour? Let's wait and see now. That's not stability. We need stable character.
But again, to be fair to Peter Obi, he's not really in the ADC. He's still with LP. According to him, now that might change. That might be, maybe he just said that just so that he could, work with them to come together at some point, which I don't think at this point in time in the 2027 election race, I would say this is already late. I mean, we're entering 2026. That's the penultimate year to 2027 elections. And we don't even know where the opposition stands today. So, Peter Obi is still in LP on paper, but I don't know if he's there in spirit. I don't know if he's there in principle. I mean, Kenneth Okonkwo just granted almost 1.5 hours interview yesterday, saying that it is for Atiku. Now, I'm not for Atiku, but again, Kenneth Okonkwo was one of the hatchet men of what? Of Obi. I mean, he was the spokesman of Obi. That says a lot. Your spokesman in just the concluded 2023 elections is saying that he doesn't believe in your leadership anymore. I mean, I don't know, but it doesn't even sound well.
I was not given ticket in 2011. I had contested Senate in PDP 2006. It doesn't stop me from being consistent with Accord Party. Loyalty is key. Ask, he's alive, he's our new king. Ask him about me. He gave me House of Rep. I said no. I said I've done fight against Adedubu's son in PDP. And I will not take 4 years without having an impact. But if I'm a senator, I know what I am going to do for Nigerians in 4 years. You will beg me to come and take another position. He said no. And I said, okay, I don't need your House of Rep. Let us give someone else. To prove that I'm popular, we will make this person achieve her own ambitions. And she did. And the next morning I said, sir, have you seen? It's all about performance. Talk is cheap. If you want to govern.
The richest man in the world said something. He says ideas are trivial. If you're sitting, if you're watching a football, you can say, oh, it should have actually gone that way. This is what should happen. But you're not the one on the field. You're not the one in the arena. Everything that all these people say as politicians is easy to say when you're campaigning. It's a different ball game when you're there, when you're the one doing the thing, when you're the one executing the project, when you're the one having been bashed. It's different. It's different when you're the governor and nobody's calling you to order. Everybody wants to attack just the president, which is fine. I mean, he's the president. You're good. You can attack him all you want, and but then you cannot always expect that people would not question what you're doing. Obi is one of the major and one of the important figures in Nigerian politics today, either you like it or not. So as he has the right to call Tinubu out, we also have the right to ask him, guy, what are you doing? Where are you really standing on all of these things? Are you now in LP? Are you in ADC? Or are you looking to form another party? What happens to the Obedient movement? Because right now you have 3 different individual symbolistic stuff. You have LP affiliated with you. You have Obedience affiliated with you. Then you have ADC affiliated with you. As we speak, when I go to vote, I might be able to differentiate between the 3, but the average person in the bush that is not even interested in politics will be confused. And that was what happened in 2023. I believe 2023, it was done in an ace because you didn't have a lot of time. You could always give, allowance for that. But from 2023, you can't go into 2027 not even having your own house in order.
The job. Then you'll be known in history as doing something. Why is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu the president today? Because he had a track record. because he did something and it worked. And people believe in him. I believe in him. I'm not in his party, but I believe strongly in him. I worked for him. I didn't have a presidential candidate, but I worked for him. Across the board, as Akogun Akeweji of Yoruba land, I gave him over 1 million votes. 8 states in Nigeria. So what are you talking about? He's our president. We must make him succeed. I'm not a bastard, and Nigerians are not bastards. Let us leave party. Work for him, let him succeed. Then we have a better government.
You're almost agreeing to anti-party activity because you had a presidential candidate.
We did.
You had Professor Ibu as a presidential.
He did not come to Ibadan to come and campaign. Did I know him? I was a candidate on Accord. I was asking Abuja, do we have a presidential candidate? They said no. If he was a president.
Oh, can you imagine? Actually, I mean, Accord party, like, who cares? Even if you have a presidential party candidate, who really cares, right? I mean, it's just, like, Showore going for presidency, like, who really cares? Like, insanity is doing what you're doing all the time and expecting a different result. I mean, Accord party, Showore, all those people, like, I don't even understand. Like, Showore fighting Peter Obi. I don't understand. Opposition parties in Nigeria are not just serious. They're not just serious. And that's what happens. You know, Nigeria will not just give you give you Aso Rock like that. They will give you opposition first. Let's see how you're able to deal with it. Then they had a little bit of House of Rep. Then they had a little bit of Senate. Then you build some, you bring in more governors. Then you build a structure that stands. Then they know you can process stuff. Okay, again, Nigeria is a unique country because we have tribalism, we have religious sentiments, we have all of these things that interplay. That's why when Showore says revolution now, I'm like, from where? Where does it start? Because when you were doing NSAS in the south, in the north they were saying we support SARS. Okay. So again, a diverse country, you have to learn how to work with each other if you really want to get there. So I kind of get what he's saying. Like, they didn't have any presidential, all those other presidential candidates, they're just for the books.
Presidential candidate. They didn't know me as a governorship candidate. Let us face reality now. Look, there is no, I forget, Nigeria is key. Nigeria is first. And Nigeria is last. Whatever we do today will become history. And we are going to leave everything in this world. We are not taking a part with you. So it's not a big deal. Face the reality. Do the job.
For those who are...
My name is Owakwe Maduka.
Again, yeah, and I think that's quite important and that's quite key. Like, if you really want to do what will work, then you've got to be like someone realistic. And again, for Peter Obi, we already have his record. He's been in Anambra for 8 years, and I don't see all these celebrities, all these activists saying, "Oh, I'm going to Anambra to leave." No, nobody's going to Anambra to leave. Okay. Yeah, in another news, I want to talk about this. I just saw this video. It had to do with some of you know Bimbo Dukoya, right? So it happens that the daughter was actually divorced for a long time. But it just came out to the open now and started talking about it. I think it's since 2021. So it's now in the open, and I'm not going to have any major comment on this because I try not to wade into some, sensitive topics. But who knows? I'm listening to it for the first time.
Pastor Tolu Odukoya finally speaks on her marriage to Olumide Ijogun. You guys, this is coming after many speculations about the status of her marriage. People have said she has stopped wearing her ring. One of the most visible changes was the change of name on Instagram.
The last thing is, I'll say I'm separated. It was circumstances beyond my control. Sometimes when you get into a marriage, you do not get into a marriage to leave a marriage. In fact, it's a death in a way. When your marriage is over, it's a death. 10 years, I'd experienced a couple of deaths. The death of my marriage, the death of my stepmom, the death of my dad's twin sister, the death of my father. And that happened in the course of 24 months, 2021 and 2023. My ex-husband is a great man, but sometimes I just feel like if God doesn't deign you guys to be together and you force fit yourselves, then the likelihood of you guys staying together is very, very low. And also, if you guys are going on two different paths in life, it's not particularly that the person is bad. They're good people, but they're just not good for you. A good person that probably was not good for him, and vice versa. To see all that come to an end in the way it did, it really, really shaped my heart. My heart was very broken by that. So that happened in 2021. It's very broken by that.
So that's 2021, and then she's just coming out now to talk about it. I mean, I don't know. It's I mean, it's a very sensitive topic, and I don't really want to dwell. I just want to hear in our own words stuff, right?
The death of her marriage, like she says, and she's now strong enough to talk about this without breaking down or without being so emotional.
If you told me when I was getting married, my man, the love of my life. In fact, I say a prophet of doom. Because what I felt and what I had, tell me otherwise. Things have happened to me, nobody could have told me otherwise. And the way it's like, when you know God, you've got to all sort it.
And that's on period, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is one of the best interviews I've seen in a while because, there are many great interviews out there, but I feel like I love the certainty she speaks with about this. And I love that it's people from her church that actually interviewed her first, not like she went on a random podcast or a random interview and the people asked her. I love that she allowed her church members who are really not about the views, who are really not about, the numbers and everything, just want to pass the information out there as she's celebrating her 40th birthday. And they're actually interviewing her with love for as much as we know. What do you guys think about?
Okay, so that's it. I wish her well in a birthday ceremony, but again, these are sensitive topics. I don't know any details. I don't live with them, so I won't be able to really give any foresight. So take a look at this video. As we get into 2027, there is a possibility that you're going to have some high level of violence, just the way things are happening. I'm not for violence. I believe that you resort into violence when you don't have a superior argument. Number two, maybe you're instigated. Number three, you feel like you're losing already and you want to salvage the whole situation. Number four, possibly, maybe someone is paying you to do that. So Lagos State, with what happened in 2023, where you had Tinubu lose, I think they're going into overdrive right now. Instead of them coming out to tell them about the policies of Tinubu and what Tinubu did that worked, or what Tinubu is going to improve upon in 2027, there's been some little bit of wildfire here and there with respect to violence. So there's this video that is circulating where this guy said, you'll be killed if you don't vote for APC in 2027. I have the backing of the government. Says Lagos NURTW chairman Mustafa Adekunle Sego, a known ally of President Tinubu. This is crazy. And if nothing is done, to nip this in the bud, it's going to be brutal.
ẹni tó bá ṣe ẹni mistake ní 2027 tó bá lọ sọ́gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ APC ẹ̀ka ṣe kí ni lè bá dìbò fún un àbẹ́ tó bá sọ fún òun ní gbọ́ àwa náà lè ṣe kí ni àgbà.
That's nonsense. I mean, NURTW shouldn't be a political party. This is a group that was formed for the transport workers. So you could have transport workers that are also members of other party, PDP, LP, and the likes. So when you're coming out as an NURTW chairman to say you're going to declare war on people that don't vote for your candidate, which is Tinubu, right, then there's a big problem there. I have a problem with that. Okay? So there's a lot of outrage with what he said. Lagos State exposes the truth. Thug thrives on a low turnout. Meanwhile, there's one NURTW guy that is in prison right now. He's yet to make appearance in court. But he's in detention right now. Let me use detention, not prison. He's in detention right now because he beat up another man, and that guy died in the process. These are the people that, you know, we leave the society to decide the future. That's crazy. So a threat exposes, you know, the truth in our society. In market, crowd scatters doubt. Same with ballots. You know, when citizens show up, Emma's intimidation collapses. Safeguarding votes begin with numbers, not noise. Power shifts only when people stand and present. When did we allow one person's inordinate ambition to turn the beautiful and enviable race of Yoruba to this? Now, how did we get here? Literally along. Okay, so that's it. I mean, I think right now it was called by, I think, DSS. So this is Gbadebo. This is the guy that was the Lagos State governorship aspirant in 2023. Violence is the last refuge of incompetence. Yeah, I said that. The unofficial DSS NG is no doubt aware of the NRT directives to its member, urging them to attack, hurt, maim, disrupt, and intimidate harm opposition gathering in Lagos. As we saw happen at my declaration on Alimosho, now threats after our successful gathering at Ajeromi. The president and his Lagos APC allies have controlled Lagos State for over 24 years. I mean, there's a lot at stake here, bro. Yet, they have no record to campaign on. Maybe for Lagos. Maybe they do have records in Lagos. Because, again, I watch your campaign. I don't really see much of a substance talking about Gbadebo's campaign. Okay, if you're gonna take over, okay, if you're gonna take over, and if you're gonna be the one to change stuff, then we should see some level of, you know, real ideas coming from you. And that was why Peter Obi won Lagos State, and you did poorly. It wasn't because that there was an election rigging. Maybe there was, but it was just because people didn't really believe in your candidacy. You were not able to convince people that you're the right person to be the next governor. So they would rather prefer to stay with the Sanwo-Olu, even though they had issues with APC, or maybe at the presidential level. But at the state level, they prefer Sanwo-Olu to your own party. The president and his Lagos APC allies have controlled Lagos for 24 years, yet they have no record to campaign on. Did you see the rail lines? Did you see all those other things? Maybe they are normal infrastructure that you have in a developed country. But I'm saying also, can you show us the record of your party in other states that is matching that of Lagos? And you can say, oh, Lagos has so much money. Okay, what about other states that do have at least something reasonable, you know, to campaign upon? By labeling opposition voices as enemy of the president and threatening those who fail to carry out this act, the intent is to stifle democracy through fears. Yeah, I kind of agree. I wouldn't allow, you know, in my own opinion, if I were the president, I wouldn't allow this. Okay, I think Goodluck Jonathan still stands as one of the best presidents with respect to election reforms, even though I didn't really agree with a lot of what he did.
Anybody, as you know, anybody is in law. Àti ìdánwò ìlọ́mọ bá kàbí kí wọ́n pè owó ìsáìwà rẹ̀ ẹ lọ sọ fún owó ìsáìwà rẹ̀. Àtẹ̀yìn tó ń tọ́jú ní iye tó bá fún ẹ lówó jẹ lọ́sẹ̀ẹ̀sẹ̀ kó wá sọ. Ọ̀hún bí bàbá ìyá ẹ̀ dá. Ó ṣe kí ni ìwọ́n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 2023 akọ̀wé ìníwọ̀n ẹ̀ ẹ bá ń gbé 2027 ló wá yí kí ẹ̀tẹ̀ ọláyé rẹ̀ ṣọwọ́ náà ò yẹ.
What he's saying in essence is that what happened in 2023 will not repeat itself in 2027. But that is left for the voters. Okay, that's left for the voters to decide. Not you, right? Not an NURT chairman of a state. You don't have enough power to decide the direction of the state. It's the people that live in the states. So when you now resort into violence,
ẹni tó bá ṣe ẹni mistake ní 2027 tó bá lọ sọ́gbà tẹ́ APC ẹ̀fà ṣe kí ni lẹ́bàá dìbò fún un àbẹ́ tó bá sọ pé òun ò ní gbọ́ àwa náà ní ṣe kí ni àgbà máa tún yín pè gbogbo tó ṣe lórí olóṣèlú lọ́dọ̀ yìí yẹn tẹ́ẹ̀bà lọ ṣọ́ọ̀bù rẹ̀ pátá ẹ tún wọn kò sí Monday ẹ tún gbogbo ọkọ̀ gbogbo tó ṣe lórí olóṣèlú yẹn ní ọ̀dọ̀ níbẹ̀ tẹ́ẹ̀bà lọ ṣọ́ọ̀bù àti ṣọ́ọ̀bù gbogbo rẹ̀ pátá gbogbo tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn gbogbo ẹ̀ wà lórí fóònù mi o ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rasa gbogbo tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní last week yẹn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lájẹ́kúlẹ̀ yẹn gbogbo ìdẹ̀mọ̀ ọkọ̀ yẹn estomach yẹn ìyẹn ní pé ọ̀tá ẹgbẹ́ tó ń fún ilé jẹ ní ọ̀tá ẹgbẹ́ tó ń fún ilé jẹ òun ní gbogbo yín.
Anyways, that's that about that. I just hope that 2027 comes and then, it's just resolved and there are with no violence and all that. Again, the opposition party, you have a lot to do. Let me watch this one.
Nobody will say anything because I'm allowed to as a king. So what can I do? It's just me and my baby. Then when I go and consult with older Iyalajes and older.
Okay, so this woman was she's Jamaican, and then the mother was British, raised in Canada. So it's an ex-wife of Oluwo of Iwo, and she was trying to narrate her experience. She was trying to narrate her experience with the king of Iwo, and that experience was not good at all. It was just crazy because, I don't know, maybe she didn't do her homework. She was finding out, and what she found out was it was so funny watching it that I would allow you to judge.
Women in Yoruba culture, they will say, catch him red-handed. He will say, but I'm a king, I'm allowed.
Catch him red-handed, meaning that he was actually, having extramarital affairs. Then because it says he's a king.
Nobody will say anything because I'm allowed to as a king. So what can I do? It's just me and my baby. Then when I go and consult with older Iyalajes and older women in Yoruba culture, they will say, oh, Lori, just put it to God. You don't leave your husband. In Yoruba, you don't leave your husband's house. My father is Jamaican. My mother is British. I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. Born and raised. I was not brought up in Jamaica. I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. So I don't know anything about you sleep in this room today and next woman sleep in this room today and this and the use charm to poison somebody or the use juju to poison. What do I didn't hear about juju and until I came to Iwo. I don't know about these kind of things. Freedom in Nigeria, when it comes to kingship, you don't have a freedom of speech. Oh, you don't say anything. You don't want the king's curse. Don't want the king to juju you. You don't want, so you're not free. A lot of people know what happened between me and Kabesi in that palace. For that 5 months, me and my baby walking along in Lagos with our luggage, I had 60 minutes to pack 4 years of my life. And he had police standing over me while I wasn't allowed to take any of my clothes, all my wigs, my makeup, my hair. He said to leave it. It's for the next Olori. This is our culture. What kind of life is this? So I'm just here in this right now. Well, you guys are going through an isolation. I went through 4 years of isolation. I sit in the palace from morning to night. Wait till they bring NEPA. When they bring NEPA, oh, thank you, God, they've brought NEPA because we didn't have a gen. Who is the enemy? Them! Who is them? The enemy! Who is the enemy? Them!
Them.
Who is them? The enemy!
That's... I don't even know what to say. The innocent lady, she didn't know what she was entering. Okay, who is the enemy? Them. Who is them? The enemy. I want that. So apparently, she's the ex-wife. She found out in a very funny way, and that was what happened. And again, I'm just saying that it's quite unfortunate. Have you guys seen this video of Peter Obi at the Trade Fair Complex, where I don't know. It's a little bit unfortunate that we look at a lot of things in Nigeria through the lenses of maybe tribe and religion and all that, and a lot of emotions and all that. I've reacted to this before, but let me see this.
So we are going back because we have done our fact finding. We have found out everything we need to find. It is to now bring the trade fair complex management, the Lagos State government, and any other stakeholder so that they will sit on a table and then this matter will be resolved. What we can all beg you and ask you is please, let there be no violence, let there be no trouble, let nobody take laws into their hand. The reason why we came here is because we are lawmakers. And as lawmakers, we cannot abide you breaking the law. And what we will try to do is to ensure that every other person involved in this does also not break the law. Let us know exactly what is at stake and how it can be resolved. You can trust us that we are going to do that. So finally, before me Uruche, otu ihe unu ga-ama wo onye ji mmadụ n'ala chịkwa onwe ya. Ọkwa ya nọ? Ọ ya. Bueno. Ịdị mgbe okwu ya. Akata ga na ọcha.
Okay, so these are senators from the southeast of the region coming to Lagos to come and talk to, I believe, Igbo traders. And I'm wondering, why would you have senators that is representing people from other states come to Lagos to come and wade into the affairs of Lagos State citizens or people living in Lagos State? Let me just put it that way. Again, I don't think this is the right thing. Then, secondly, you were there at the trade fair, trying to tell them that you're going to talk to the governor and the management of the trade fair complex, and then you're going to get back to them. I thought you should have done that before coming out to make statements. I mean, this doesn't make sense because, again, I see some level of tribal sentiments going on here, and I'll just leave it at that. Tomorrow, we don't know what happened to the case of Obi's house that was demolished, the house at Ikeja. Because Obi was saying that house belongs to his brother, but it seems as if that house actually belonged to Next, which seems to belong to Obi. And Obi came out to make some statements that the Lagos State government was trying to demolish the house as retribution to him standing against the government of the day. Which later we got to understand that there was just a court case between someone, not Lagos State government, someone different from the Lagos State government. And if truly what was done was wrong, there are avenues for you to settle that matter. But Obi came out, said, Lagos State was going after him. That was not true. That was not true. So again, I don't like this whole idea of, putting people together and just trying to push stuff, sentiments and all that. Okay, so this is Ghana State. Okay, I saw this one. No problem. Let's see. This one is fun.
I'm here to make an official.
So this guy, I think he's I don't know where he is, but he made some funny pronunciation about those that don't go to midweek service. Let's see.
Apology video. So everybody have judged differently over the years. But mo wà ní Nigeria, mo máa ń lọ bí iṣẹ́ bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀. So mi kì í pa midweek service jẹ, vigil mi kì í pa jẹ, rehearsal mi kì í pa jẹ. I'm always present in church. So gbogbo àwọn tó máa miss rehearsal yẹn, tí ó kì í wá midweek service yẹn, mo máa ń wò bí àwọn tí wọn fẹ́ràn Ọlọ́run tẹ́pẹ́ táyé ni wọ́n lé kiri. Mo máa ń gba àwa ìtẹ̀sí máa lọ bí iṣẹ́ láàárọ̀ tẹ́ni lè wà midweek service rọ̀lẹ́ just 6 to 7. Why ìtẹ̀sí lè wà ìṣòro just 3 hours ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa gbàbẹ̀ lọ bí iṣẹ́ láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì. Mo máa ń rí wọn àgbà àwọn tó hàn fi Ọlọ́run tẹ́pẹ́ táyé ni wọ́n lé kiri. I didn't know better. I'm sorry. Mo fẹ́ nu mi bolẹ̀ wájú yín. àgbà tí mo ti délùú yìí tí mo ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ Monday to at the point in time mo kàn ṣe Sunday to Sunday ìgbà tó yá nísìn Monday to Friday ni mo ń ṣe àti make midweek service mi rántí last time àfi tó bá forúkọ mi sí officiating tó yẹ pé màá gbé Uber lọ láti meet up time yẹn ni VG mi lè rántí mọ́ kò ń ṣe pé mo backslide but ipa ọ̀gbẹ́ agbára ọ̀gbẹ́ kọ́lọ̀ fún wa lórí ọ̀fẹ́ so mo á jókòó máa gá mo yìí máa ń jọ́jú gbogbo àwọn tí ó kè wá sáfíìsì rí pé wọn ò fẹ́ràn Ọlọ́run táyé wọn ń lé kiri pé àṣé mi tí sínú ṣù yẹn ni so gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí mo ti judge wrongly though mi accuse yín but ẹ̀yin tí bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹ má bínú I know better mo ṣe realize pé Ọlọ́run òróró kò lọ fà. So this is not to discourage those that are going. Please, if you are going, Bíbélì kí ni Bíbélì sọ? Bíbélì sọ pé rántí Ọlọ́run rẹ nígbà ìwé rẹ nígbà tí ọjọ́ ibi ò tí dé. Mo dúpẹ́ pé ìgbà ìwé mi mo mọ Ọlọ́run gidigidi gan. Kò dẹ́rẹ́ pé mo padà lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run báyìí náà but circumstance, situation of things, life was expensive.
Well, that's for those that are abroad, huh? There was this interview between what's it called again? This guy, Jandor. So this guy ran on the PDP in 2023 as the Lagos State governorship candidate with this Nollywood actress, Funke Akindele, right? And again, when I saw that ticket, I was just like, these people are not serious. Not that I don't want them to run for presidency, don't get me wrong, but two individuals that are not really heavyweight when it comes to politics running together at the same time. I don't know who was complimenting what. It was just more like a child's play. Okay, so let me just listen to this interview. It was asked if he's going to step down for Sheyi Tinubu.
Jandor is whether or not you'll be willing to step down for Sheyi Tinubu, the son of the president.
Like I said, if we found ourselves on the field, you know, as aspirants running for the ticket, and the leadership of the party decide to say,
that's a long story. Oh, guy, if Sheyi Tinubu wants to run, you know you are a toast. You're a toast already, bro.
Oh, it is Mr. A that we are presenting at the end of the day. All of us will fall in line and work for the party.
Asking Jandor.
God, yes, you're going to step down. Oh, guy, you're just you're just trying to. If leadership of the party says, which leadership of the party? Is it not Sheyi Tinubu? Yeah, I beg. It's the reality of politics in Nigeria as we speak today. And again, that's the reality of politics elsewhere too. That's it. That's what happened. They had to tell Hillary Clinton, you know what? Step down for Obama. And then when Obama left, okay, it's your turn. Again, those are party arrangements. I don't have anything for or against it. Each party will run its affairs the way the best seem fit to run the stuff. But I would like to listen to the interview with Seun Okibaloye yesterday, where he was saying why he left. No, it was yesterday. Election will be a walkover for Tinubu. Again,
everyone for staying with us. A few months ago, the PDP governorship candidate in Lagos, Ms. Olajide Adediran, popularly called Jandor, dumped the People's Democratic Party and moved over to the All Progressives Congress, a party he was a member. And now he's aligned with President Bola Tinubu, saying that Nigeria is headed in the right direction. But recently he's made a very bold decision about his ambition in the nearest future. I'm being joined tonight by Jandor Olajide Adediran, who is live for us in our Lagos. It's good to see you, Mr. Adediran.
Thank you very much, Seun. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. What is going on with Lagos politics? It does look like things are shaping up so fast. And when you talk about Nigeria's politics, especially when elections are coming, Lagos seems to be right in the forefront.
So again, one of the things that, because this is Sanwo-Olu's final tenure, right? He's not going to come again as a governor. So there is really an opening right now. And if you recall, there was a time when they had this issue that they removed the speaker. What's his name again? Obasa. They removed the speaker And the whole story around that speaker removal was not even because it disrespected Jide, the governor. No, it was, I think the whole battle was around 2027. Because the speaker felt like it's his turn. You know, politics in Nigeria, it's just so crude. That at least it too is his turn, and even though, he's been a speaker for a while, he believes that those that are governors, they're not special than him, that he believes that it's his own turn. And then there's a theory that Jide Sanwo-Olu has a better candidate, and then there's the theory of Seyi Tinubu also, that there's a possibility that he also runs as the governor of Lagos State. Again, these are all speculations, but then there might be some truth to that. So just put that around the corner. Now, before I go on to talk about this interview and the governorship candidacy, there's a problem. Everybody in Nigeria is fixated on who becomes the president. Nobody, a lot of people are not really focused and interested on who becomes their governor. A lot of people would rather take on X, formerly Twitter, to just bash the president morning to night. But meanwhile, the governor in their own state are literally messed up. It's literally messed up. Their local government chairman now has been getting like times 3, times 4 of what they used to get a few years ago, and there is nothing to show for it. Nobody is even calling out those local government chairmen. Nobody is saying what is happening next door, because your local government chairman should be scrutinized more, then followed by your governor, then followed by the president. And that's why I really love what Tinubu did with the local government allocation. Let it go straight to the local government chairman. Why should it go to the governor first?
Yeah, of course, it's been a bit quiet politically in the state of Lagos. And it's about time we gear it up. We don't want to be doing catch-up with all these coalition or what have you. And what you had yesterday is for us once again to express our can-do ability and give a shot to the same seat that we've gone for during the last electioneering process, to say, okay, let's take after the boss, the leader himself, who has been so courageous in many fronts. I mean, just like I did in 2021 in the same party, I didn't wait for anyone to express my can-do ability to say, you know what, I want to run for this office. And of course, because there is nothing to do now except to run for the same office. There is no vacancy in Aso Rock till 2031. I would have said, okay, maybe the next thing should be me running for president.
No, there's an election now. You people calm down. There's an election in 2027.
So you have it yesterday, and we're keeping our eyes on the ball. We're doing the needful. Let's start galvanizing support for the party across the state. At the end of the day, whoever the party picks to run is whom all of us is going to rally around and support. But for Jandor, I'm running in 2027, and I've so declared.
But did you let the president know this, that you are coming back, your return to the APC was solely or majorly or primarily because you want to be governor?
Okay, so the president, knows that it's every member's constitutional right to run for office of your choice, in as much you're ready to submit yourself to the rules of the party and the constitution of the party. And if you look at the president himself, he didn't wait for no one. In fact, against all odds, he ran, and today is the president of Nigeria. And if we're not learning the courage from him, if we're not learning a boldness from him, then what's the point of us calling him our leader? The president oftentimes would tell us power is not served a la carte. You don't think somebody will come and give it to you. You've gone for it. And we also know that there is no how you want.
Grab it, snatch it, run. That's his word, not me. Grab it, snatch it, and run with it.
You win a lottery if you don't buy a ticket. You can't win in a scheme that we refuse to participate. Of course, the president knew I was coming from somewhere, and I was on the ballot in the 2023 election. And again, maybe 2027 is my year. We're giving it a shot.
Okay.
But I mean, do you think that you fit into the present scheme of things? Because already we are hearing they kind of, you are not even part of the list of names that we are hearing. They are being thrown up. And trust me, I've covered and I've spoken and I've reported the politics of APC governorship aspirations. And usually, we are always almost right, except a few situations where the leader of the party in the state, Bola Tinubu, and a few of the leaders decide who they want as the candidate of the APC. You're not in the scheme of things, or your name is not on the lips of those who we call the kingmakers in the APC.
Okay, so I don't know the names that you're hearing. Of course, we have members in the APC that are much qualified to run for office of governor of Lagos State. We have a couple of them. Okay. But I've not heard from anyone coming out to say, I am running. Maybe, of course, my name can't be there because I haven't employed any proxy to do that on my behalf, and I'm coming out as Jandor to speak for myself and say, this is what I'm doing. Perhaps if you go to the names you're hearing, maybe you have one of them to summoning that courage to say they're going to run. But one thing I can tell you is that in APC, we've got several materials who are qualified to be governor of Lagos State in 2027.
You heard that in APC, they have a number of individuals who are qualified to be governors in 2027. Oh, wow. He was the governor of governorship candidate in PDP in 2023. What about LP? Where are the individual, I would say, state governorship candidate that we can say, oh, these are the people that are pushing the LP message or pushing the LP brand at the state level? I'm not seeing anything. I'm not. LP is fixated on presidency, that they're not even growing their roots to be able to gain some level of relevance or some level of stability in the states. And that's why it becomes difficult when you have someone, let's even assume Peter Obi wins. Okay, let's assume. I'm not saying anything, just let's assume. Then why are those people that will form the government with him? Why are those people that would be the one fighting for him at the National Assembly level? Where are they? Who are those people that you can say, these are the people that are working with, Peter Obi for presidency and also for the National Assembly and also at least for the state. Let's forget about local governments. So it becomes difficult. And that's the same problem that Atiku is going to have when it comes to ADC in 2027. Because now PDP is not part of the coalition. LP, we don't really know, because LP is saying that Peter Obi should either decide if he wants to stay in LP or go to ADC. So even you have ADC coming out as a coalition, which I doubt it is, it's more of a party. What happens? Where are the individual state gladiators? Because you don't win election, in isolation. You don't. And I'm beginning to see different traces, and this is not for everybody, okay? If you are just a zero-sum guy that can't really reason, that doesn't really build himself into logic, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reality on ground. This was the same thing that I was shouting in 2023. That your guy, there are a lot of holes that needed to be covered. But again, it is what it is. Where are the LP governors for each of the states? What are they doing right now? Or, okay, maybe not LP. Where are the obedient governors? Because Aisha won't help you in electioneering. Aisha and all those people on Twitter always shouting, they won't help you to bring in the goods in strategy, in logistics, in planning. They won't. I mean, there was even no monitoring station in 2023 for LP. And again,
quite a few names that I've heard and been thrown up, including the likes of Senator Tokunbo Abiru, who seems to be in the lead. And there are very prominent people. There are a few people have also thrown the names of Honorable Jimmy Benson is one of them. Akinwumi Ambo, the former governor, is also one of them. Prominent also is the son of the president, Seyi Tinubu, whom a lot of people have gone to town that he should run and represent the youth in Lagos. Do you think you stand a chance against Seyi Tinubu, for example?
Okay, so all the names that you have mentioned, just like I said earlier on, Sheun, they are all qualified to be governor of Lagos State, including Seyi himself, every one of them. And you're not going to take anything away from no one. But from all of them that you have mentioned, aside from the former governor that you mentioned, none of them have actually has been on the ballot, you know, as governorship candidate aside from myself. So I come with that experience. I come with the experience of somebody who has single-handedly, you know, gone through that process without any backing. You cannot imagine what is going to happen this time if I have a solid backing of Mr. President and the party in Lagos State. It will be a walkover. So, I mean, with due respect to everybody, and I keep saying it, whoever at the end of the day the party decides to pick, all of us, we do what? We're going to follow and campaign for. You know, I played a smart one in 2021, 2022, when we were in the party, because I know that we're not wired to doing anti-party, you know, and the moment the party presents anybody, all of us will fall in line, because in APC, that's where you see party supremacy. So I didn't wait for primary election to be held and contest against the incumbent governor then, and I needed to look for a platform where we can exhibit our can-do ability. And that we found in PDP, and today, nobody will say who is Jandor in politics of Lagos. I mean, if not Nigeria.
Asking Jandor is whether or not you'll be willing to step down for Seyi Tinubu, the son of the president.
Like I said, if we found ourselves on the field, you know, as aspirants gunning for the ticket, and the leadership of the party decide to say, oh, it is Mr. A that we are presenting at the end of the day, all of us will fall in line and work for the party.
Give me a moment. We'll take a break, and when we come back, more questions about your ambition, although it's not time to campaign, but there is nothing stopping anybody from saying, I have interest or I have an ambition. We're talking about the prospects of Lagos politics in the midst of all of what is happening in the nation. After this break, everyone. Join us again. Everyone, Jandor Olajide Adediran, 2023 PDP governorship candidate in Lagos, has been speaking with us from our Lagos studio. If you look at it, the president lost Lagos in 2023 election. Do you think it stands a chance? And you see what is happening, the demolitions, which has now been given some ethnic coloration, and there are those who say there will be political repercussions for such a thing. Do you think Lagos is now an endangered ground politically for the APC and for President Bola Tinubu should he contest again in 2027?
Okay, Sheun, remember in 2023, Jandor and his Lagos for Lagos movements were actually outside, you know, and this time we are back inside. So it won't be the same thing as what you witnessed in 2023. So 2027, not only in Lagos, in the entire country, is just going to be a walkover for the man whose courage has given us a lot in this country today. Let me give you an example. If not for his courage, we still have some people now still putting their hands in the cookie jars of fuel subsidy, which has assisted us in reducing even debt to revenue ratio from 97% that it was now to less than 50% today. The GDP grew by 4.2% as against even IMF projected 3.4%. I mean, this is something that you can, during barriers, maybe you're forgotten, states will go to FARC and they've come back with zero allocations, and federal government would then be giving them what you call bailout. We don't see bailout in this time. What they get now is triple of what they were receiving at the state level and at the local government level. This is something somebody's courage has done, since he took over office, to say, you know what, I'm going to put a stop to this racket called forest scheme. And today we have stability. Where are the proceeds? The proceeds are within the states, component states, and local government. And reducing debt revenue ratio from 97.
What do you say to those who say Lagos is no man's land?
Oh, here we go again. I don't know why he's asking that question. But for those who want to know, okay, let's hear what he's going to say. Anyways.
It's for anyone's taking.
Well, Lagos can be a no man's land, of course. I am from here. I'm an Awuri man. Lagos is own. It's an Awuri land. So you can't just say it's a no man's land. Because we've been so hospitable to take everybody doesn't mean you come and say it is your land. Of course, we welcome everybody. And don't forget, it will be difficult for you to demonize the government of Lagos, because this is one government since 1999 that you've had in their cabinet people from the north, people from the east, and all of that. So how can you just suddenly say the government, even for us who are the Gaussians of the first order, we're even looking at it like, look, why are we not giving the front role? Why, accommodating more people from outside? And so you can't just turn around and say the same government hates a particular or don't like a particular section of the country. No, because everything pointed to the fact that it's the one state in Nigeria that has accommodated everybody irrespective of where you're from. Even in the cabinet of Lagos, even in local government, you see people from other states being chairman of local governments. You can't have this anywhere. We are talking about local governments. You see an Igbo man, somebody from Delta in Lagos being chairman of local government. The last time local government chairman, was it even from Lagos? From the southwest?
Well, people are saying that things are changing right now. Maybe it's as a result of a reaction or an equal action that gave to certain reactions. People are saying that things are changing rapidly. Like, for example, the renaming of Charlie Boy to Bado Street, Uzumba and Badaway renaming and all of that. Again, I don't know where this will lead, but it might be a big problem, for the Igbos. And that's why this question is coming out. The race relations in Lagos and even in Nigeria as a whole, I believe it has gone to maybe not an all-time low, but I believe is really not at the very best place right now. I mean, that's my own opinion. I don't know. That's what I think. I might be wrong, but I don't think the relationship between especially the Igbos and the Yoruba is really in a very good place. And we could see that X is another cesspool of its own.
So how do you reconcile that? No, Lagos is an Awuri land. Lagos is Lagos. Yes, we have everybody coming to do business, to trade here, and we've been so hospitable to have everybody. So we're not fighting anybody. We're not against anybody. I mean, we love, this is mini Nigeria. Everybody is welcome here. Okay, but hey.
All right. Jando, Ola, Jide, Adediran, 2023 people.
Thank you, PDP, now in APC, standing on whatever mandate they've given him. I got a story right now, and I don't know if this makes sense. What the hell? I got a story, and I don't know if this makes sense. And it's just, I don't know. They're saying that there is a possibility that, okay, it's Lera Lainka, that Pengerson, because we're still on that Pengerson issue, that Dangote offered to pay SAT workers 5 years' salary without work. And I think it's something that Dangote might have offered. Now, this is sources, so we don't know. It might be a fake news. Let me just put that out there. Dangote said, pay workers 5 years' salary without work. But sources said Pengerson rejected this option, opting instead for the workers to be redeployed to other part of the Dangote Group's business. What the hell? Why would Pengerson do this? 5 years salary. Do you know what that means? However, they said they reject Dangote offer to pay sacked workers for 5 years to continue to stay in their home or do other things, but they will be paid every month for 5 years. No, why would they be paid every month for 5 years? They should be paid in bulk, but they will not be allowed to go near the refinery. And I kind of understand why, right? Because again, these are now powerful forces within the company. So I wouldn't allow them to be near the refinery because sabotage is real. The Dangote offered to pay them without work. I don't know how true this is. Dangote is following my script step by step. Taking off my who is this one? You can force an employee to do you can't force an employee on an unwilling employer. Those affected will eventually be sacked. I told you. Or they will just be frustrated. They will just be frustrated. Pengerson has not really shown that people should be on their side in all of this. I'm telling you. That's a very general. Now, this has not been confirmed. Let me see. Let me consult. Dangote offered to pay sacked workers 5 years salary without work. Let me see. Is this true? Because I also learned that they had a WhatsApp group, those workers that wanted to join, and they were consulting with Pengerson on a WhatsApp group. Now, 800 workers on a WhatsApp group is a no-no with union leaders. That's a no-no. If I have a complaint and I have 3,000 Nigerian workers or 3,000 workers and I have 800 of them in a WhatsApp group as union members, then the complaint is over. You are no longer the chairman. You are no longer the CEO. Because 800 people, especially in a very sensitive industry like Dangote Refinery. I'm not saying you shouldn't join the union, but there should be some level, of safety that the employer that is also paying the salary would demand. Especially when you don't want sabotage or disruption. So again, I just want to put that out there. Now I'm consulting. Oh, Grok is saying that this is true. AI Grok is saying this is true. According to multiple credible Nigerian news sources, Aliko Dangote Refinery, a subsidiary of the Dangote Group, offered to pay the full salary of approximately 800 sacked workers for 5 years without requiring them to work, citing security concerns about potential sabotage at the facility. The proposal came during the negotiation. That's generous. I've been bashing Dangote on these things. I mean, on this issue, that he shouldn't have sacked 800 people. But if he had actually offered to give them 5 years, and Pengerson said no, then I don't want to hear any noise from Pengerson, because when the full detail comes out, it will now be really that this was a clear case of sabotage. I'm telling you, this is what it's going to be. Why would you? I would have said no. Now, again, another question is, did we even have any of those workers, 800 workers, did we even have any one of them, okay, in all those negotiations and meetings? Or was it just that the 800 workers were sacked, and because they're not members of Pengerson, they couldn't have joined the executives of Pengerson, so they were not even really represented? Did we have like 2 people from the 800 sacked workers that were in those meetings? Because if we didn't have any of those individuals that were in those meetings in Pengerson, the negotiation they had at the federal level, at the individual Dangote and Pengerson level, if there was none of those 800 people there, then this is clear sabotage. This is clear, and I mean it, to be honest. Because why would I collect 5 years salary? Do you know what 5 years is of someone's life? Of workers? If they pay you 5 years and you don't know what to do, then maybe you shouldn't have been employed in the first place. The refinery dismissed the worker as part of we know all these ones. Time of the proposal, the affected worker would receive salary for 5 years, stay at home, or pursue other opportunities, but it will be barred from the refinery premises. Dangote team argued that this was a lighter financial burden than reinstating potential untrustworthy employees. Union response: Pengerson rejected the offer, demanding full reinstatement and unionization right instead. Wow, this is nonsense. By October 1, Dangote agreed to reinstate and redeploy. Who wants to go to Dangote flour? Why would I leave a refinery where I'm making history to go to one flour, Dangote flour, to be mixing flours with egg and salt and sugar? No. This is not right. Whoever, I mean, at this point in time, I think Pengasser needs to be dissolved, according to Senator Alain Dube. He needs to be dissolved. Why would you? Legis NG, Premium Times, Naira Land, all. And the story has gained traction. I think they should reconsider that 5 years. If I were part of the 800, if I'm in the 800, I would today go and meet Dangote and say, I want that 5 years. I don't know if he's going to do that. 5 years salary just like that. I don't know. Okay, so there's also this story that I want to talk about. Two-Face was allegedly arrested because he had an heated argument with his wife Natasha in London. Is that true?
An altercation, or should I say an argument? Wanabela and Jingle Bello. So according to the reports, Two-Face Idibia has allegedly been arrested after an altercation, or should I say an argument, heated argument with his wife Natasha in London. Yes. So according to the report, allegedly. So Two-Face is actually due to perform tonight. That is 2nd of October in London today, and then now people they're already leaving the event because Two-Face is a no-show at the event. And according to the gist, Two-Face and Natasha were having arguments. Even
the side is a fake news. Hey, wait. The side is a fake news. Okay, the side is a fake news that actually that he himself has come out to say, no, that was not what happened. This was what happened. Okay, let's look at this.
Hey, guy. They don't allegedly. Hey, guy. Allegedly. Let's not say hey. Allegedly. You wait there, they wait there. Abi? Allegedly, they don't allegedly. First off, I want to say, man, everybody that, came out, we appreciate you. We had a medical emergency. Yes, sir. You understand? We had a medical emergency. It was tough. It was tough. So you understand? So to the organizers, to everybody that came out, we'll regroup or we'll make something very, very beautiful happen. Bam. And please, if you don't do something, no talk about it.
Very important.
The guys are very important. And the guy said that guy said with this one. This one will enter. Yes, gentlemen. Over the don't let you. Hey guy. They don't allege you. Hey guy. Allegedly. Let's not say hey. Allegedly. You wait there, they wait there. Abi? Allegedly, they don't allege you. First off, I want to say, man, everybody that, came out, we appreciate you. We had a medical emergency. Yes, sir. You understand? We had a medical emergency.
Sorry about that. I had to pick this call. Yeah. So again, in this age of news and all that, so he didn't show up, at the concert. The concert was billed, for yesterday, but he said he had a medical emergency. I hope all is well with him and all that. Just on a lighter mode.
Not just in a physical manner. Nigeria is now not just in a physical mess, it is at
Look,
not only Nigeria they face this problem.
We finally beat Medicare.
Nigeria.
We finally beat Medicare. Okay, so that's that about that, and that's the story. Let me see. I think for now I've covered some of the news. I don't know if there's any other thing that I need to cover in here, but that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. And please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, I would appreciate if you could help me to grow. At least I'm just starting this gig out, and yeah. Yeah, it's been good. Thanks for listening. If you could help me to subscribe, I would really, really love it. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you guys later. Have a good evening. Thank you.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. Change my fate, you won't understand it. All alone, that's okay. People, I can't stand them. They don't want me to change, keep me where I'm standing. And I don't wanna be where I am. And I want something more, take a chance. It could be possibly